So, what is empathy? Empathy is the ability to feel for another situation even when it isn't going to affect you directly. I was born an empath, so when I walk into a room full of people, I take on all of their emotions, regardless of if I want to or if I don't want to. It's really overwhelming at times, but I like that I can feel deeply, regardless of if it's about my situation or someone else's situation. It can be a gift or it can be a curse, but like I said, I choose to embrace it as one should. If you have the ability, it's something that's really beautiful to have. So, you want to avoid draining yourself, but embrace being an empath. First, you need to embrace it, like I just said. Second, you would want to avoid negative energy. And third, you're going to want to take a break if you need it. APA Segnet says that empathy is considered a virtue, yet it fails in many situations, leading to a basic question. When given a choice, do people avoid empathy? So I get it. Avoiding it would be the easiest route, but it only seems that way because it takes the least effort. So taking the least effort is really just being lazy, and I'm not one to be lazy. You need to understand though, you can't always save the world, and you have to accept that. You also need to know that you control what you absorb, even if it doesn't feel like you do. So, first, we're going to start with embracing your inner empath. While embracing it, you need to always keep in mind that you cannot be everyone's savior, and you need to understand that thoroughly. Taking care of yourself can be tiring. If you add in others' emotions, that takes even more energy. So, where can you get the energy to take on everybody's emotions that you cross paths with? It's just going to leave you drained, especially if you think that you can do it. But what you can do for embracing it is use the ability to take in what you know you can handle. So you're going to feel a deeper connection to certain people. Those are the ones that you should try to use your empathy trait with. You can use your own emotions and situations to try and assist them, and this will be way less draining. Um, you always control what you take in or absorb. I read an article called Artificial Intelligence and the Ongoing Need for Empathy, Compassion, and Trust in Healthcare. The article contained the following quote: because of these dynamics, one can say that fiction can serve as a skills lab for empathy. The accuracy to this quote is really unnerving. The first time I realized that I was an empath, I was a young kid. My mom was reading to me and my sister. It was bedtime. It's a story that all of us are familiar with. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So I had so many questions. I was overwhelmed when Baby Bear's chair broke. I didn't understand why she was out in the woods alone or why she was going into somebody's house. It doesn't seem to relate to empathy, but as I grew up, I continued to care too much. All empathy is at the end of the day, to an average eye, would be caring too much. You care too much about everything. The next topic is equally important to keep yourself from being drained, and that's staying away from negative energy, especially energy that you know is negative. This is especially draining for empaths. It's draining for anybody at the end of the day, but empaths, as I said, take on all of these emotions. So they want to avoid the negative energy. A person that sees no good takes a different toll out on an empath than it takes out on a normal person. Personally, I lash out or shut down completely. I won't talk, or like I said, lash out, which is not pretty. You can't help to absorb their view as well. So then, even if they change their onset and they're happy now, you still have this burden of their emotion that you came in on. Certain people and places are going to be more draining, and empaths can usually tell that immediately. They sense bad vibes even before entering. So, if need be, just avoid it entirely. As stated earlier, you control what you take and absorb. If you're stuck in a draining situation, then look for something good in that situation. You can always find something good in a situation, especially if you're an empath. Flip it to your advantage then. If you see the good, then maybe you'll be able to get others to see it as well. And if not, then it could be time for a break. Empaths need a way to ground themselves and ground the energy that they take in when it gets to be too much. So I found the best ways for me is to be with water or near water. I also really enjoy music. It helps me. I ground my energy usually while I'm taking a break. So everyone can use a break, especially important for an empath. Being overwhelmed is just a part of life. Being an empath isn't a part of life. So imagine what it's like for an empath in a world full of people that are just out for themselves. It's pretty exhausting. If you find yourself feeling drained, then take a break, find your ground. Nature, music, water, candles, whatever it may be. Only you can take care of yourself. If you've bitten off more than you can chew, just stop chewing. In conclusion, embracing your inner empath, avoiding negativity, and taking a great break or grounding oneself are the best ways to avoid feeling drained. A quote I read sums it up the ability best. Empathy involves identification with another and leads to increased pro-social behavior. I myself enjoy the ability. It's made life a little tough, but I really wouldn't want it any other way. It's my own little superpower, like psychic abilities.